Tadu sadasadu varyadisha vartma samanaha samradito bhagavan gena pumsam hridhi sito yachati bhakti bhute jnanam satatva adhigamam puranam. Therefore, a great sage, please give me instruction on the transcendent devotion service of the Lord, so that He, who is situated in the heart of everyone, can be pleased to impart from within knowledge of the absolute truth in terms of the ancient Vedic principle delivered only to those who are purified of the process of devotion service. So, various word here. He also addresses Asura Varya. Prahlad Maharaj, how he addresses his father? Asura Varya. Tadu Sadhu Manya Asura Varya Dehinam. Here not Asura Varya, he is Sadhu Varya. Asura Varya means the best of the Asuras. Sadhu Varya means best of the Sadhus. So it's a different address. Okay. So it's very nice words here first. And then Vartma, we know the word Vartma also. We say Vartma Pradasha Guru, who shows the path. So he says, oh, best of the sadhus, show me the path so that I can please the Lord. Okay. Samaradito, the word, see, easy to split it. Aradito and Sam, completely worshipped. That's why Prabhupada says, Samaradito, being perfectly served. Yes. Hridi Sito, that is also easy to understand. He situated in the heart. Ya Ichhati, by which all his desires will be fulfilled. Bhakti Pute, this is the color I use for most important thing. Blue, Krishna's color. Bhakti Pute, purified by devotion service. Puranam. So here the main focus is Bhakti Pute. The Lord can be revealed to the degree we have purified our heart. It is not an academic exercise. To the degree we have purified our heart. Correct? What happens? Normal studies today are academic exercise. This is not an academic exercise. Or not merely an academic exercise. No, we should not read books, but it's not just an academic exercise. We should not mix up. Bhakti Pute, purify. So there are symptoms by which we can know somebody is purified. Tridatapi Sunichayana Tarorapi Saishuna Amani Namanadena Kirtanya Sadahari. So then only you can chant the holy name of the Lord. But not purified, then how will you chant the name? You will chant, but you will not hear. Or you will not hear in a proper respectful attitude. So it will not have its effect. You will not be able to feelingly address the Lord because you are not purified. Krishna is also said in the Bhagavad Gita as Pavitra Paramam. Krishna is totally purified. Paramam means supreme purified. That is so pure he is. So we cannot enter into the spiritual world unless we are purified. So what is the purification? What is the purification from? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Masari, all effects of mental energy. No jealousy. Biggest obstacle spiritual life is jealous. Somebody is jealous. In spiritual life, we have only 4 emotions. We have love and respect. We have friendship. We have compassion. And we have neglect. But we don't have jealousy. It's not allowed. Even for a Kanishthadhikari means he cannot even analyze this much. He just practices. He just goes to the temple, look at the deity and go out. He struggles to relate to the devotees because this requires purification. When you are purified, people like to be with you. But not purified, nobody likes you. Because what happens? In Satoguna only we can do good. Rajoguna we disturb other people. Tamoguna we harm other people. Dhira Adhira Janapriya. The great acharyas, everybody likes them. Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami were in Vrindavan. Everybody used to like. Everybody, even they used to come with their problems, family problems. Why? They're totally purified. It's a natural. The more somebody is, therefore Krishna consciousness means they purify, 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 purify. That's why we don't break regulated principle, because it disturbs it. We become impure instead of becoming purified. Correct? So what is the purified? So the process of Krishna consciousness is meant for purification. The more you purify, the more you become eligible to advance in Krishna consciousness, and more you become eligible for mercy of Krishna. At this stage, Krishna doesn't talk to us, because that's what it is said here. Raga Bhakti. That happens with Raga Bhakti. When Krishna, now Sadhana Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti, Krishna doesn't talk to you. We are not qualified. We should know that. Prabhupada says Krishna doesn't talk to nonsense. We are nonsense now. Krishna will not talk now to us. Hare Krishna told me that. All don't talk all these things. Not the time is your Shastra and your Guru. That's it. Correct? This is the talking of Krishna. Krishna talks through Shastra and through Acharya. That's fine. Why? Because you are not purified. The same we talked so many times. When Narad Muni could not see the Lord, Krishna said, yeah, you are kuyogi, you are apakwa, you are not purified, you are not ready. We have so many instances of similar nature in the Bhagavatam. Because so similarly, we should, our whole, we can see Krishna, we can talk to Krishna, but the problem is we are not purified. We are not ready. Krishna wants to come in our presence. Krishna wants to be with us. Krishna wants to play with us. On his side is wanting, but we are not pure. We are not ready for his association now. So therefore, this purification is the process. Shraddha Sadhu Sangha Bhajan Kriya Anartha Nivritti. So we have come to the path where we have come to the beginning, and where we are Anartha Nivritti, to wash the heart. So this is actually the objective with which we should practice Krishna consciousness at this stage. Why I am practicing? I want to get purified. What do you say? Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada used to say, when the faults of others disturb you, who gave you the service first? First thing, seeing fault is a service, very dirty service. Who gave you the service? Has anybody given you service? Now, why you are seeing faults? For what purpose? We discussed this point many times. Doctor can come and take my temperature because she will give me advice. Correct? And I am respectful. I will hear. I may follow, not follow. I may use whichever medicine system. But doctor gives an advice, you always take advice. Correct? You don't mind when doctor sees a fault. You don't mind. Why? Because you're going to follow what he says. Correct? True? That's the point. But who has given you the business to see fault? Who has given you the service? The person has no respect for you. He is not asking you for guidance. Who told you to find fault with them? It's actually very disturbing attitude. Once fault finding enters the heart of the devotee, it's one of the biggest anartha in spiritual life. And then the spiritual life is lost. He cannot associate with people. Forget about spiritual life. In material life itself, when people are measuring you, don't talk to them. Correct? You don't like to talk to people who are all the time, judgmental. We don't like such people. They get lost. We don't want. He is totally out of the association. We keep them out of our company. Judgmental. So Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada says, our business is to go back to Krishna. Find fault with yourself. Unless somebody has given you the service. Sometimes you may have a service. That's a separate issue. Correct? You have your paper, you get 100% marks and go. Who has told you to look at it? Suppose all of us got some marks. We had an examination. Okay? And now I say, how much you got? Why? Why I'm seeing? Why I want to know? Why I want to know? What purpose? Is there a utility? Then it's fine. If there is no utility, it just becomes an entertainment. And that brings some false ahankara. And I'm not able to see. My focus has to be my own faults. And if there is a focus, you have million reasons to pray to the Lord. Million reasons to, to work out, to think, And when you stand in front of the Lord, actually tears should be there. My Lord, what should I do? I am not fit for your association. I know. And it's artificial for us, but actually true for pure devotees. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go to embrace devotee, they used to run away. My Lord, I am not fit for your embrace. But what we think, oh, yes. See, Lord is embracing me. See, are you watching or not? That should be the nature. But we like something else. See, this some visitor comes, some sannyasi, he is giving garland. You are watching or not? He is talking to me. What word we are? But the focus should be, no, there is some great problem here. We should get up with the problem. And whose problem? Therefore we discuss, no, we have only one enemy. Who is our enemy? Our own mind. मेरा एक ही दुश्मन है मेरा मन, और कोई दुश्मन नहीं है. तो मैं क्यों अपना, है ना? So let me deal with this enemy. We only imagine enemies. Our only enemy is our own mind, which is destroying us, which is eating us from inside like a termite. It's eating us, it's destroying us, our own mind. So now I have to deal with this. So I find fault with myself. And you can write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you know somebody, open out. What should I do? I have so many faults. Can you guide me? What do you say? Even a person on the equal platform can guide you. It's not a problem, because he doesn't have those faults probably. He doesn't have that stupid attachments you are having. He may not be having that entanglement you are having. I told you many times that example. One girl was entangled with a boy, and I told her, why you are after that elephant? She forgot that boy in few seconds. Over. Because I was not attached. I was not attached to that nonsense boy, and actually he was an elephant. But he get entangled. And the girl could recover her career, and she kept telling me, my God, just the one word. वो भैंस के पीछे हो तुम, बस हो गया. I forgot that boy forever. Why the words? Because I did not have that attachment. No? Suppose I am addicted to cigarette by my own foolishness, or addicted to movies, to gaming. Go to somebody who is not addicted. So please help me. Correct? Last time we discussed that. A super point. I had another class on the same point. It's whatever we are doing except devotion service is a revolt against the Lord. Anything else, it's a revolt. True? Anything. Social service, upadharma, chaladharma, you are misinterpreting the scripture, that's also revolt. Why you are misinterpreting Krishna's words and changing Krishna's word? Isn't that sign of revolt to the Lord? As if Lord did not know what to speak and you correcting him. And they do that. In the school of Patanjali and all these fellows, they have no proper faith in the Vedas. I made an analysis sent to you. They have no proper faith in the Vedas. They're all imposters. Correct? Why they are taking the meaning which is not there in the Vedas? They call themselves Astika, but they are Nastikas. Chupe Rustam sab. They actually don't have proper faith, because they all wrote their sutras. Kapila wrote his sutras. Jaimini wrote his sutras. For some service I had to study this. So then I came to some conclusion. Patanjali wrote his sutra. All wrote their sutra. Their sutras are all contrary many times to the Vedas. And at that point they say, my sutras are correct, not the Vedas. So why you are using the Vedas itself? Have your own philosophy. Why in between they have such funny ideas of God. I'll just tell you. Their idea of God in almost all the 5 philosophies, so I'm not doing speculation now for entertainment. Speculation for philosophical speculation is allowed, not mental speculation. So there are 5 of them: Gautama, Kannada, Kapila, Jaimini, and Patanjali. 6th one I have taken Vedavyasa. Sometimes you can bring 3-4 kind of impersonalists. Dattatreya is another kind of impersonalist. Even God, he gave that philosophy, impersonalism. Shankaracharya is another kind. Ashtavakra is another kind. We can go, there are many divisions and many paths, but I just took Kapila Sankhya. So if you take all these people, what are these people doing actually? They are interpreting the Vedas in their own way, and they wrote their own sutras, and whenever the Vedas contrary, they say, no, this is correct. And what is the conception of God? Most of them, the conception of God is like a bank where you deposit your papa and punya. And when your papa punya get exhausted, then you are away from the vision of the God. They call the God Adrishta. What is the Adrishta doing? They don't talk about him at all. They have no interest in him. His only business is to keep Papa Punya account. Adrishta. So when you do some sinful activity, an account is created. And that fellow watches that account. So if you don't do, you clear your Papa Punya, you cancel your Papa Punya, Adrishta, you become Adrishta to the Adrishta. You become invisible to the invisible. So you are free, you are moksha. Until you have some Papa Punya, that account he is watching, make you take birth and give you the result of the Punya. Therefore, Jaimini continued on that thought flow and he said, what you have to do with God? You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. You have nothing to do with God. Same concept from what continued from Gautama, Nyaya to Jaimini, all Vaisheshika, or you have Patanjali, or you have this Kapila Sankhya, all these people infested with the devil. None of them. And none of them. I was writing their Sambandha Avideya Prayojana and I was analyzing wrong. Just one thing wrong which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, they do not talk about the eternal activity of the soul after liberation. In fact, all religions also say RIP, rest in peace, where there is rest possible for the soul. Suppose a patient is in your hospital, at that time activities are painful. But when he comes out of the hospital, activities are pleasurable. So where there is question of rest? Is there any question of rest? There is no question of rest. After he is come out of the hospital, he will have more activities. So how the activities will stop? So what is this concept? Rest in peace. In peace, the activities will be more. You will rest. How long you will rest? You rest forever. Okay, you are in a peaceful, you will have a good rest. समझ गया. उसके बाद तो activities will start, no? What are the activities of the soul? In peace. They don't talk about that. Rest in. How can it be rest? You will rest forever. Because their problem is they don't have a conception of soul separate from the body. They're struggling with that. Therefore, when they say the judgment day, the God will come, the body will come out of the graves and start walking. What is this? Prabhu, what is this? Bhaktivinoda Thakur also said, what is this philosophy? ये सुना है ना, हॉरर मूवी में देखा होगा, एक स्केलेटन चल रहा है, मुंह खराब हो गया. First thing, it is not even logically reasonable because their judgment day is not today. It will be after at least 1,000 years or something. The bodies within few years will decompose. So what they show, walking face and all, nothing, only skeletons walking. Even scientifically, it is not logical. How can the skeletons walk? Where is the energy? Where is the connection? That they struggle, therefore, to make it logical. So therefore, they show in horror movies some half face because they want to show some body. But scientifically, the body doesn't exist. How long? If you keep a dead body, how long it will retain? It's just a matter of time. The body totally breaks down. So what will come out of the grave, it cannot be possible the shapes that it show. It will be skeletons. Only skeleton will remain. Whole thing will be eaten by worms, isn't it? Nothing will remain. So what they are showing, the half face, they almost show the form because how logically it is possible for it to walk, Skeleton can't walk. It is, it has no way to walk. What do you say? So I do not know how they stretch their imagination. They're not able to separate. What goes to the Lord is the soul, not the body. Body is separate from the body. What do you say? It's not very clear. It's very distinct. Vedas are so clear. There were two portions of the Yajurveda. I was seeing Yajurveda have two portions. There is bright and dark. Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. You heard that? There was, Veda Vyasa was telling to disciples Yajurveda. And there was one person sitting there, Yagnavalka. He was learning. And something he did mischief. He got so angry, he said, you give me back what I taught. So Yagnavalka vomited out all knowledge. In the sense, this is analogy of vomiting, not normal vomit. And Vedavyasa did not want the knowledge to be lost. He said, all of you become parrots and pick it up. So all the knowledge was taken and it came black from him. Therefore it is called Krishna, the black portion. And Yagnavalka said, I am not going to leave here. I want to learn because Vedas are not property of Vedavyasa. It is coming down. It is known into the Devatas also. The Vedas that come from the Lord, it's always the same. There is no change